Let's go. Let's go. Hey, we are back. Finally. Welcome back to Empower Hour with yours truly, Jody Marie, aka Lady J. Lady J Empowers. That would be me. Today we are going to talk about something that I know anyone and everyone at some point in their life can relate to. And that is analysis paralysis. This was a great topic for me because I'm going to tell y'all something. I have spent probably over a year over analyzing restarting this podcast. Was I going to do it with guests? Was I going to do it without guests? I have background noise. My life is too chaotic. I need to move. Yeah, that happened. I don't know. Do I get guests? Do I not get guests? How do I get the guests? Where do I get them from? I need to be intentional about the guests. Blah, 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 blah. And then there's the I'm not in the mood to do a video. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Here we are. We are starting back officially season 6 in the house. Yes, because it's time we all stop analyzing everything to the point we do absolutely nothing. And I'm telling y'all, I know that there is somebody listening to this thing like, ooh, is she talking about me? No, I am talking about me. But I know there's somebody else out there. So what is stopping us? What is that thing? It's always something. Life is going to life. Look, I have been a fitness and nutrition coach for over 15 years. And I'm telling you, I would get all the things from people that I worked with. This is coming up. That's coming up. I got this going on. I got that going on. And I'm telling y'all, while I did not make excuses in that area at that time, I have definitely made some excuses in my life. And that's why I'm doing more holistic life coaching at this point. Because I know that there are underlying things that we have to work through in order to get to the next step. It's not even the goal. We want to focus so much on the end goal that we don't even look at what we need to do to take that first step. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's funny because analysis paralysis Jody decided she was going to take all these notes and make sure she had it all figured out. But you know what? I don't even need these notes because I can talk about this topic to the point where you are going to understand. We are in season 6. And when I first started this podcast with the name of Breaking Barriers Now, I did not overanalyze it. We were in the middle of COVID and I was like, well, I got this thing. I can try this thing. I can try that thing. But then what happens when life starts opening back up? What happens when things start creeping in? What happens when what we thought our lives were going to look like are no longer there? What happens then? How do we keep going? See, what you guys didn't see on the back end is the struggle. You saw when I did show up, but you didn't see when I didn't. And I will tell you, just today, as I'm recording this right now, I had a rough morning. This week has been a little rough. But guess what? That's life, you guys. And it's the difference between, okay, maybe I take some time away from that thing. Maybe I give myself some grace. Or do I just quit? And I've been close to that as well. And that's where I don't want anybody else to get to. But I'm not in control of that. You are. See, we tend to focus on all the things. If you remember at the beginning, I said, I can't control the background noise. I can't control this. I can't control that. Where am I going to live next, right? Like there was all these things that were going on. We tend to focus so much on the stuff that we can't control that we forget to think about what we can. And at the end of the day, while I cannot control circumstances, people, situations outside of me, guess what I can control? Me. It's by God's grace that I am still here in front of you. And I'm okay with saying that now because I know that there's somebody else out there that needs to hear, hey, just get back up that one more time. Keep getting back up. It doesn't matter how many times you get pushed down. It's how many times we get back up. And I'm telling y'all, the more you get pushed down, the harder it can be to get back up, especially the older we get. Okay? I get pushed down now. I don't know. You gotta have to give me a minute. But mentally, see, we can laugh about the physical, right? But mentally, it can be tough to get back up, especially depending on how hard of a blow we took. See, a couple years ago, I thought I had this whole plan laid out for my life. But that began to slowly fade away. And I will take responsibility. A lot of it was on me. Most of it was on me. But I knew deep down that I had to take drastic measures in order to find who I really was. I lost myself as a child. So I had to remove everything around me that was comfortable. I didn't know what was coming after that because it got even more uncomfortable. But I had to make choices that were misunderstood. I had to make choices that were judged. I had to make choices that I couldn't even explain at the time. Because deep down, I knew that while I don't know why I'm doing this thing exactly, I know that eventually the reason will come. And it has, slowly but surely. When we think about analysis paralysis, I've seen this so much. Like I said, in health and fitness, people don't want to go to the gym because what if they look at me? I worked with females a lot. What if I go in and I don't know what I'm doing? Well, that's why you ask for help from somebody that knows what they're doing, right? But what if I go in and I'm getting judged? Well, guess what? What if I'm on here and I'm getting judged? We're all getting judged by people because that's what people do. And that's okay. I had to finally get to a point in my life where I just don't care anymore. I don't care because there's somebody that's gonna be judging me. It doesn't matter what I do, what I say, what I dress like. It doesn't matter. It's never gonna be enough for everyone. And that's why I finally adopted the saying, I'm not for everyone, and I am okay with that. Finally, in my life, at the ripe old age of in my late 40s. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Very late 40s. But you know what? Some people never get to that point. I could have taken my last breath without getting to that point. So today I want you to think about something in your life that you want to do, but you're afraid to take the first step. What does that look like for you? Maybe it's doing something like this. Maybe it's even putting a video on social media. I've definitely dealt with that as well. But here's the thing. You always have to remember, people got to know you. See, even when my health and fitness business was doing great, only the people I worked with got to know me. I was not being vulnerable to the rest of the world because what if they judge me? And also, to be quite honest, I wasn't ready to talk about some of the things. There was a lot of things that I had to heal from. See, what I know now is when I came back to Jacksonville, Florida, I had to come back to heal. Because when I left here, I was running. When I went into the Air Force, I was running away from everything. I couldn't handle it anymore. Everything I was trying to do, it just seemed like it wasn't working out. But you know what? That's been my whole life. And it wasn't until I finally started turning the mirror around where I was like, you know what? I'm the common denominator. So I want you to examine some things. I want you to look and say, am I the common denominator? Am I allowing certain things? Am I accepting certain things? Am I valuing myself? See, those are the things that we need to take a hard look at, but we're not looking at those things because we're overanalyzing everything else. And why? What if my dog starts barking? What if somebody starts mowing their lawn? What if somebody knocks on the door? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, this is what I was called to do. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not only doing a disservice to the people whose voice needs to be heard, because if I'm showing you that my voice can be heard, I'm also showing you that your voice can be heard. So if I'm willing to stay quiet, I am allowing you to stay quiet. And that's not okay, because that's not why I went through all the things that I went through. That's not why you went through all the things that you went through. Yet here we are. I know so many people that I talk to all the time. Everyone has a story. And I was one of those people who didn't want to share it either. But I will tell you, the more vulnerable we get, the better off we are. So that's why I'm okay with saying, you know what? It took me forever to restart this podcast because I didn't know what to do or how to do it or how I was going to do it. Am I going to do it on Zoom? Am I going to figure out this Riverside thing? Am I going to do it here? Am I going to do it there? I got this person say I could use their studio. It's too much sometimes. So I had to step away and just allow the things to show me how to take the next step. I had to allow God to show me what step to take. Because in the season I'm in, I got to really look at things. And it's not overanalyzing, but it is analyzing. It's learning how to play chess instead of playing checkers, because that's how I've lived my whole life and wondered why it was so chaotic. Because when you're playing checkers, you're not actually thinking anything through. You're following the crowd. You're going with emotions. You're trying to be seen by people who will never see you. You know how many messages I get where people are, hey, this is what I'm doing, but they could care less what I'm doing? There's so many people out there who just want you to be a part of their thing, but they're not paying attention to what you're doing. So I started looking at this thing called reciprocity. Is it reciprocal? And if it's not, I have to be okay with pulling away from it. See, we're not in here chasing shiny things anymore. So while I did not ever learn how to play the game of chess, I am absolutely playing it in life. I get it now. If you ever watch people playing chess, it's strategic movements, and it can take hours for them to make a move. But yet, a lot of us will jump, and I will just say me, I was the type of person where it sounded really good. It was going to elevate my family. It was going to elevate me to where I knew that I wanted to be. So let me go ahead and go there. That's checkers. But what if I took a step back and I did what I've always done when things didn't make sense, and I researched and I made a more informed decision? See, that's the difference. So I can sit here and say, hey, don't overanalyze it, because that's how we get stuck. But I will never say, don't analyze it at all. Every risk can have a reward, but it can also have a fallback. So I want you to understand the difference here. Because while I am doing this show on analysis paralysis and how it took me so long to show back up for you here, I am no longer accepting every opportunity that comes my way. So that's the difference. So I want you to look at, what am I overanalyzing that I really want to do? And what am I accepting in my life that may not be serving me? Those are two questions that we really need to look at. Another big thing that I had to start doing was surrounding myself by quality people. Every connection is strategic and intentional now. Again, I'm not chasing people anymore. I've been there, done that. And it's not to sound harsh, but I don't need a lot of people in my life. I just need quality people. Because I already know what I bring to the table. Do you know what you bring to the table? Examine your relationships. Examine the things that you are involved in. Examine what you're stopping for yourself. Because someone may not look at it like you want them to. Now, this isn't to say go online and start bashing people, but you can share your story in a genuine way that can actually help people. Yet most of us aren't willing to do that. What if you just tried it? What's the worst that can happen if you actually went inside the gym? Now, I will say, if you don't know what you're doing and you try to do something that, takes somebody who does know what they're doing to actually show you, like, barbell squats or something like that, yes, you can get injured. But just to go in, but again, that's why we seek help. I tell everybody that I work with, you not only get me, you get every mentor, every coach, every therapist. You get everyone who has helped me, but you also get the lessons that I've learned the hard way. Because I don't want you to have to learn that way. Let's go back to the gym, because that is my area of expertise, right? Fitness and nutrition. Or let's even go even farther. When I tell people to track their foods, they tell me all the reasons why they can't. And they don't tell me one reason why they're going to make it important too. So what is that thing for you? What is that thing? What is that thing that we are looking ahead at, like, I really want to get there, but I'm not even willing to take the first step? No one wakes up just knowing how to do everything. It took me 6 seasons to get a microphone and some headphones Actually, it took me 4. I'll take that back. And that was because I came in contact with someone who knew more than me, who said, hey, here's a couple of things that you can implement. But then I had to apply it, right? I'm going to go back to the research part because I am a researcher. I love to research. I love to learn new things. I always say I'm a student for life. But what happens when we're researching so much that we never apply anything that we're learning? And like I said, this is not to point the finger at anyone, because if I'm going to point the finger at anyone, I can definitely point it at me. But I know there's somebody else out there that's like, ooh, is she talking about me? Research until we are blue in the face. We will rewrite plans until we're not doing anything. We wait for better timing. I will tell you, today is not the best time for me to record this show. But I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I said, you know what? Let me just take a shower, put a shirt on, put the headphones on. I got the background now. I can't make any excuses. The only thing I had to do was be willing to press a record button and show up. But I'm telling y'all, it took me forever to even do that. I've had this background for over a month. I've had the setup for over a month. I didn't have the platform for over a month. I just got that. And I did do some research to figure out if that was the best bet for me. And it was. But again, I had to apply the knowledge. We can't just examine everything. We can't just prepare and prepare and prepare without being willing to execute. If any of you think that I got onto a bodybuilding stage by waking up one morning, going to the gym, eating right for a couple of weeks, and saying, oh, let me go do a bodybuilding show. Not at all. When I entered the military, I didn't know anything about airplanes. Being a mechanic on an airplane, that wasn't even in my plan. I had to learn. And it took me a while, but guess what? I finally became an instructor for that career field. And then I kept leveling up. And then the only reason why I didn't retire in that career field is because as a caregiver for my mom, I got very, very interested in the human body and how it worked. And honestly, that was actually what I was doing before I went into the Air Force. I was doing exercise and sports science. I was working at a gym. I was doing fitness. I didn't know a whole lot about nutrition back then. I thought the Wendy's dollar menu, and yes, I'm aging myself, was going to get me through playing basketball 8 hours a day. And it did. It did for a while until it didn't. So when you get older, you actually have to pay attention. I'm trying to get my daughter to understand that now. We don't wake up knowing how to do things. What we have to do is try. Try. Look at what we can do a little bit better. Try again. I remember the first time I got a check for keynote speaking. I freaked out. I freaked out. Oh my God, they want to pay. They haven't even seen me yet. Oh my God, what am I? Do you know that I probably psyched myself out before I even got to the stage? And so, of course, it didn't go quite how it probably could have had I been in the season that I'm in now, where I'm just like, here I am, world. This is what you get. But I'm able to be a whole lot more authentic. I'm a lot more passionate. If you go back to some of my old podcasts, they are probably not like this. There was a time where I didn't even think I could do a solo podcast. But now, because of analysis paralysis and the fact that I was putting it off, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop over analyzing this. If I don't have a guest, I don't have a guest. Start anyway. And here we are in episode 1. And we're going to have episode 2 and 3 and 4 and however many other episodes there need to be. Because I'm not going to keep over analyzing this. And there's going to be some great guests because I already know that God is leading me around some great people. There's going to be a studio one day, but that's okay. I don't have to think about that right now because right now I'm in practice mode. For my basketball fans, yes, I played basketball. AI said practice. How you get anywhere? Practice. Kobe was in the gym before anybody else was. I don't know any athlete, even bodybuilding, any sport, because yes, bodybuilding is a sport, any athlete that just wakes up and goes out there and crushes it. Do you know that some of the best athletes out there are the ones who are more experienced? Do you know why? Because they kept practicing. They kept honing in on their craft. There's a reason why I had multiple certifications. It wasn't just so I could say I have all these certifications. No, I was honing in on my craft. I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to learn more about supplements. I wanted to learn how supplements aren't regulated and how do I trust supplements if they're not regulated, right? There's so many things that I wanted to learn. So you have to hone in on your craft. You have to want it. I'm also the person that said, you know what? I'm doing life coaching. I wonder if they have PhDs in that. Yeah, I don't expect everybody to be that, but but I knew that I did not want to be part of the crowd. How can I be different? That's what I look at now. How can I be different and be okay with it? We don't have to overanalyze who we are. We are who we are. I'm a flawed person. That's okay. Be flawed and show up for the world. And that's what I had to tell myself today. Be flawed and show up for the world. I want you, if you're listening right now, I want you to reverse the what if. What if you start a business? What if you go to the gym? What if you apply for that program? When I applied for the PhD program, it was not easy to get in. But you know what? What if I didn't apply? Then I applied for my GI Bill not knowing that I would get it. But what if I didn't? I would have never gotten it. Now, it didn't last me my whole program, but that's okay. Because where there's God, there's a way. And I will be starting my 6th semester here soon. What if you ask for help? What if you leave a misaligned environment? See, the thing about me is I would stay put to a fault because I wanted to be liked. What if I leave? Then I'm misunderstood. What if you are misunderstood? See, the thing is, I had to look at the fact that in my life, I have mainly been misunderstood. And that used to bother me. But the difference is it doesn't now. So I want you to get to that point where it doesn't bother you. Don't worry about who judged you in your upbringing. Don't worry about who said you were unworthy. They tried to keep you down, but you don't have to accept that. What if you take that first step? What if you join a community that you've never joined before on a platform you've never used before? Hint, hint. What if you share your story? I want you to look at what is the negative outcome that you've been rehearsing? What is that thing? What is that thing you've been telling yourself that has kept you from what you desire? What is a positive outcome that you refuse to consider? What if you go to the gym and you actually like it? What if the scale doesn't change, but you feel better because you're energized throughout the day because you decided that instead of sleeping in, you were actually going to get up? What if? What is the smallest meaningful step that you can take within 24 hours of listening to me talk right now? Here's the big one. Who will know about it? Who will know that I committed? Do I need to share? Do I need to tell it all? That's something else that I really had to look at. I don't have to share it all. I went into stealth mode. I'm okay with building in the background now. And then I say, here it is. And people are like, what in the world? What's going on over here? One faithful step after the other. That's it. And what if it doesn't go how you want it to go? But what if you never try? What if you keep putting it off and you get to your deathbed and you say, I wish I would have done that thing? I don't want you to get to that. I don't want to get to that. When I published my last book, Alone, A Story of Finding Self, do you know that the only thing I had control over was the contents in the book? The only thing I had control over was getting it published on Amazon because I decided that I was going to self-publish. You know what I didn't have control over? A publisher wanting to take it and run with it. How many people purchased it? Whether they reviewed it? When its message would reach the right person? But I can write it. I can publish it. I can speak honestly about it. And I can leave the work behind because I did it. Do you know how many people I talked to? I know I went into the gym thing, but you know how many other people I talked to that find out that I have a couple books and they say, oh, I need to write one too? Okay. What are you doing about that? A lot of times I'll get, well, I'm not a writer, and that's okay. I wasn't a book writer. When I first started college, I wasn't a paper writer. I started my writing journey writing angry poetry. But you evolve and you get better. And if it's something that you want to do, you'll keep getting better. People that have better podcasts have just been doing it longer. People that have better books, better speaking careers, they've just been doing it longer. So listen, here's what I want you to really ask yourself. Will you choose faith or fear? Like I said, making calculated decisions isn't fear. That's being smart. That's being wise. But when it gets to the point of imbalance, that's when it can keep you from where God is trying to take you. So ask yourself that. What is that one thing that you've been putting off? What story have you been telling yourself of why you can't start? What would the first bold step look like? It's not the complete plan. It's not a guaranteed outcome. We have to learn how to release those two. Just the first step. So here's my challenge to you right now as you listen to this. Take that step before the end of the 24 hours. Write it down right now and take it. And when you get to that point, do not allow fear to pull you back. Take it boldly. And then I want you to also tell one trustworthy, and I mean that word, trustworthy. You can't tell everybody what you're doing, okay? That's something I had to learn. One trusted person what you're going to do, because you know what that person ends up being. It's what I love to be for other people, and that is your accountability partner. Be willing to take the first step. Be willing to apply the knowledge. Be willing to say, you know what? I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but this is where I want to be, and I'm going to take this step to try to get there. Maybe you take the step and it ends up being not so great. You know what you can do then? You can pivot. So I learned that at a young age playing basketball. I learned about pivot. Now, of course, back then, I didn't learn what that was in life, but that's what we do. But we got to be willing to take the step. If this episode helped you in any way, make sure you share it with someone else who needs to hear it. And make sure you follow the podcast so you can receive the next episode. You can also go to ladyjempowers.com and you can sign up for the email list. I would love for you to join the Become the CEO of Your Life community. It's different, but you can explore it. And it's a safe space where I welcome you to come in. And I welcome you to be authentically who God created you to be. Thank you for tuning in today. And I will keep showing up because I know that there's somebody out there who is going through the things that I go through. God bless you.